Good evening and welcome to the Congo Hour. Hope you had a wonderful week. I am your host, Wayna, along with...
Welcome to the show. My name is Trippy. Thank you for watching. Wayna's going to give us the rundown on who's going to be joining us this evening.
Okay. First, we have Brother Ron. He's from the Elks Home. We're going to come and talk about some fundraising that they have going on. We have Councilwoman Sherry Dorsey. I'm so excited. We are representing with
Yeah, I'm not
buttons.
sure how much longer we're going to be able to call her Councilwoman.
I know
though.
that's right.
Yeah, so she's going to come on and talk about what that's all about.
Yes.
Might not be calling her Councilwoman for much longer.
We won't come
a
few more months.
September 10th.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And then we have a special edition of Sammy's Corner without Sammy, and we brought back Councilman Jay Street.
Okay.
So,
looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Trippy, last week I got so many calls about what a wonderful interview we had with Chief Good and with President Craig.
Oh, yeah, it was really good. We
yeah.
need to start doing that more often. My dad touched on that too, remember?
Yes, he did.
A few weeks before that.
And you made it happen.
Yeah, so we definitely need to do it. I like the call-in aspect of it, and both gentlemen were respectful, so that was good. They were open and honest, and it was a good dialogue.
Maybe we'll get to do that with Councilwoman soon-to-be Senator Sherry.
Of course, yeah, I'm sure she's always open to come on.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you ready to go?
Okay.
Get started?
Yeah, then we're going to have our funeral announcements.
Right.
We have some community news and some birthday shout-outs too.
Yes, and you know what? Because time goes past us, and there's a gentleman who hit us up on Facebook, and his name is Mr. Lonnie Edwards. He says that he's 75 years old, but I swear this man looked like he's 65 years old. So I want to say a happy birthday to Mr. Lonnie Edwards before we end the show, just in case I forget. So,
happy birthday.
Brother Ron, welcome to the Congo Hour.
Thank you, Sherry. How you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Basketball, huh?
Oh,
yeah, we got to
talk about that.
We'll talk about that after.
We'll talk about that after this? Okay.
Okay.
How are you this evening?
I'm fine.
Good. So you're here to talk about the Elks?
Yes, right now we're having a fundraising drive to finish working on our building and to work in the community with the kids. So right at this point we have some upcoming events, and one, we have a beef and beer Saturday, August the 9th, and the donation is $5, and we have door prizes and raffles.
Wait a minute. Is that a misprint?
No.
A beef and beer for $5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then we have a third softball players gathering Sunday, August the 17th. The donation is $2 if you wear your jersey, your old softball jersey, and $3 if you don't. And we have our first annual elk picnic on the 24th of August. And that starts at 2 until we'll have a raffle, we'll have a live jazz band, and the donation will be $10. Now, the proceeds, half is going to be split between getting the building fixed, and the other half is going to raise money to have events for the children.
Okay. Can you give us a little bit of the background about the Elks?
Well, we've been in the city for over 100 years.
Okay.
And we've helped out in a lot of different areas, such as education, feeding the hungry. We have a Thanksgiving drive, stuff like that.
Okay. So if anybody out there wants to learn more about the Elks and possibly become a member, who can they call? What do they have to do?
Call me.
Okay.
Because I'm the financial secretary.
All right.
My number is 302-397-9713. And we also have a membership drive going. And so, because we need all the help we can get, because we have different departments that need to be filled.
Okay.
Give your number one more time for us.
302-397-9713. Ron Evans, you can call.
Okay. They can call that number for more information about the upcoming events.
Yes.
Also, right?
Yes,
okay.
you can.
All
Yes,
right.
you can.
Anything else you want to get across before we go to break?
No, I just want to say hello to my daughter,
All right, what's her name?
Bettina.
Okay.
Tina,
Yeah, her birthday's August 8th. So,
okay. August the 8th?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right.
We'll take a quick break and be right back with Councilwoman Sherry Dorsey. All right, welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed our first interview. Now we are joined by Councilwoman Sherry Dorsey. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really
All right.
appreciate it. It's always a pleasure being here with you.
Oh,
Of course, we need you on every week from
right.
here until September the 7th.
That works for me.
All right. Because we need good people like you in Dover. So
Well, thank you.
we're
Thank
gonna,
you very much.
I'm going to let you take it from here. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Well, first, I want to thank you for a wonderful homegoing service for my nephew, my 13-year-old nephew.
Oh, you're
Your
welcome.
family
Thank
did a
you.
phenomenal job, and I just wanted to, on behalf of my family, I want to say thank you for a job
welcome.
well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Yes, we entrusted our services to you, and you did a phenomenal job.
Thank
So
you. Thank
it was
you.
definitely a celebration of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, with that stated, the campaign has now been dedicated to him, and we made him the
Yeah.
honorary campaign manager.
Aw.
So
I was
he-
thinking about that.
Yes.
Like a service. Like I was
Yes.
wondering if you want to do something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have this
Mhm.
pin on him. My sisters
Yeah,
put it on
yeah.
him. Yes. So, talking about what made me even decide to run, part of what, and I even say this, Ms. Wayne, I was talking to Councilman Congo about education.
Okay.
And so often on the council floor, you hear him say, we need people in Dover to start listening to the people in Wilmington
Yes.
and start meeting our needs. And I kept hearing him say it, and it kept resonating in my spirit. And I really did. I prayed about it, and I was like, Lord, what? He sits diagonally in front of me.
Is he like
Right, I said,
leaning over talking to you?
what is happening here? And one of the greatest things that Trippy always talks about is education. And we as the city government, we have no say in what happens with our babies as it pertains to education. And as I've been knocking on doors and talking to constituents, I've explained to them that everything happens in Dover. And until we get people in Dover who are going into our schools, who are going into the homes, and really trying to get to know our constituency and know what they need, then we're going to keep going in circles.
That's right.
And nothing's ever going to change. So a 59% dropout rate can drop drastically if we put people in Dover who truly care about our babies. And I'm one of those individuals who truly cares.
Yes, you are.
I know, I'm excited
Uh-huh.
already. I'm so excited for you. I really
Well,
am.
thank you.
And you know what? Even you didn't get a chance to hear, but I want you to go on our Facebook page and listen to Councilman Jay Street. I mean, he really went hard for you on last Sunday. So everywhere I go, everyone is excited about your new move in government.
I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I really am. And I wanted to thank Councilman Street publicly for that glowing endorsement. And it's interesting because as time draws nigh, more and more people are starting to come out. The Americans for Democratic Action endorsed me. And as a result of working in conjunction and fighting hard for the firefighters, several firefighters have been texting and emailing and calling and saying, I need your sign on my lawn. So
All right.
that in and of itself, and that's not why I voted in favor of them.
Right.
It just didn't make sense to cut those positions, but that's another story for another day, in my opinion. But nevertheless, when you fight for public safety, well, for one, we have too many issues in our city to be trying to cut public safety. There's other areas where we could trim the fat, but public safety is one of those areas where you just don't touch.
And you know what, speaking about public safety and not getting off of your campaign, but on Friday evening there was a shooting on Concord Ave.
Yes, there was.
And then
There's
there
one
was
today
another
also.
one today.
Yes, same exact spot almost.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so most definitely something
Yes.
needs to be done. And education is also, I believe, going to be a big factor in our
Right.
crime.
Because they go hand in hand.
Most definitely.
And then if we put the efforts forward, if we pay it forward, then we don't have to worry about paying for it in the back end. Too often we're putting too much money in the prison system and not enough into our educational system. And that's part of the reason why I want to go to Dover.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. So people who voted for you and supported you as a council person, your district is a little larger now, right? Since you're running for Senate.
That is correct.
What can you tell us the boundaries of your
Yes.
district?
It goes from East 17th Street on the east side all the way over to Fordham Road. And
Where's that?
Fordham Road is like the Westover Hills area.
Okay.
Yes, and then up by the path mark on Lancaster Pike. So that part of the county as well.
You got my
okay.
vote. I
Well,
can
thank
vote
you.
for you.
Well, praise the Lord.
I didn't know that goes that far up, huh?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
All right.
Yes.
And you said East 17th Street. What's the landmark around there?
East 17th, right by where the water department is in that area.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So it goes all the way up in that area.
So it includes your current district?
Yes,
and
my
then-
whole
but then-
entire
Okay.
councilmatic district.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the entire 5th councilmatic district
Okay.
and 3/4 of the 7th councilmatic district and then the county.
Okay.
And then of course 4th district as well, Councilwoman Hanifa
So
Shabazz.
the entire 5th district. So
Yes.
everybody who Councilman Prado is a council person
Yes.
for, they can also support you.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So I cover Councilman Williams, Councilman Prado, of course myself, and Councilwoman Hanifa Shabazz.
Okay.
Yes. And then I overlap with County Councilman Jay Street, so I just bless the Lord for that.
I know that's
Yeah,
right.
there you go. I guess probably the biggest thing is to try to get people to come out
Yes.
on September the 9th, because it is, I guess, quote unquote, like an off election
Yes.
where we're not
Right.
voting for like the mayor and the president.
Right.
So that has to be the biggest push, just to get people aware that there is going to be an election and to
Yes.
get out and vote.
Yes. I've received so many calls and emails and condolence, and people have been saying, what can I do? What you can do is vote and make a difference in the city.
Right.
And in honor of my nephew, Jaleel Lewis Bryant, just come out and vote on September 9th and make your voice be heard.
You know what? I really believe that people definitely want to change. So I believe that they're not going to make any excuses, that they're going to go out and they're going to vote for you.
I'm excited about that
Yes.
too.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people are excited when I knock on the door. They're like, "Oh, wait a minute, it's you." Okay, gotcha. Put the sign out front.
So, and if you don't know anyone who lives in those districts, I mean, if you don't live in the district yourself, but if you know someone who does, you can call them up
That's right.
and tell them to go out and support.
And people can
Share
request
it.
signs.
Yeah.
You could just give us a call, 302-777-3712, or you can email me at Dorsey, DORSEY 4 FOR Senate @gmail.com. Again, that's Dorsey 4 spelled out FOR Senate @gmail.com. I am a home girl, a community
you
girl.
are.
I'm a West
Yeah.
Side girl,
Yes.
and I just want to go and serve the people at a higher level and do God's work at a higher level.
Yes.
So when you win, what happens next? Like when would you officially
Take the position
take
in
that position
January.
in January,
Yes.
okay.
When
All right.
the legislature when it goes back into session.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you'll still be with us for a few more months?
I'll still be with the council, but I'm never going to
I was
leave.
going to say, I'm going to still be there anyway.
Right, I'm never going to leave. What I'd like to do is have the different branches of government working together.
Yeah.
So you have the senator working with the state rep, working with the county council person, as well as the city council members,
Right.
and such that the constituents know that we are there for them.
That's good.
But that's the way it should be.
That's
Yeah.
And it
really
shouldn't
good.
be an issue of, and then we also need to be having a forum team too, where people are cultivated such that they can run for office.
Right,
Because
right.
so often I think people are more concerned about, oh, my seat is going to be taken. Well, if it's your time, it's your time.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now let's move the next person.
That's right.
Yes,
That's
and
right.
we as a community need to start
Yeah,
doing
definitely.
That's right.
that. Yes,
Yeah,
I've
'cause there-
started as soon as I came in.
Yeah, there are a lot of young
Yes.
people who are getting more involved in politics,
And that's
who just want to be.
excellent.
It is.
Yes.
Just wanna, like I don't want to be a council person forever. So I'm definitely.
Why, you want to
looking-
be mayor or something?
No.
after Mayor Williams is done. Only
No,
after
not
Mayor
even
Williams
that.
is done, right?
Nah. I mean, I do enjoy being a part of the political system, but
Yes.
I also know the importance of, like you said, grooming younger people
Yes.
to fill my shoes one day. So,
Yes.
So
I'm
you're
looking forward to
saying that you're not going to be a council person for like 20 years.
Right.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to
got you.
be.
Right.
I would hopefully somebody by then will have an interest and a passion
Most
and have the, I guess, integrity to
Yes.
and desire, and the community
Yes.
wants them to be in that position
Right.
where I am now.
Right.
And you said a very important word, integrity. And I think we need to start electing people who have those principles, people
Right.
of character and people who don't lack integrity. And I think that what has happened so often in the political arena is we have people that will just sell their soul to the devil for whatever reason.
Right.
And we can't have that. You have to stand strong on principle. You know, even with the fire vote, it may not have been the most popular vote amongst the other elected officials, but it was the right thing to do for the community. And we have to do what's best for the constituency, not for the next person that's sitting next to me. I have to do what's best for those who elected me.
Right. That's so true. Earlier this evening, I put up on my Facebook page that the community as a whole needs to do our part. And I said we need to pray for our elected officials, that they hear the voice of God on the behalf of other people, and not just for their own agendas that they have.
Yes. And we can't be afraid to say that we love the Lord and be in these positions. And I understand where people say there has to be a separation of church and state, but this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. And so we've gotten so far away from our foundation that we don't even know who we really are as a people. I'm talking about collectively. And so until we get back to what the principles on which we are founded and the principles on which we need to be standing, then we're going to keep going in circles. And so I just won't move. I won't waver from what God has called me to do, and that's fight for the people. You know, big things come in small packages.
All right.
No, that's right.
So give us your information again, Sherry.
Dorsey for Senate at gmail.com, and I can be reached at 302-777-3712, and you can also reach me on Facebook as well. If you'd like to have a sign, just inbox me on Facebook, call me, or email me, and we'll see to it that you get a sign on your property. And I thank you for your support and love.
You still need volunteers, of course, probably, right? To come
Yes,
out and
definitely.
On election day and up till then.
Yes.
Okay, so in what capacity?
We'll need people to be at the various at the various locations where people will be voting. So we'll just make sure that we have all the bases covered, and we'll take good care of them on that day. We just ask that they get people out to vote. And each person, if you bring 5 people to the polls, we can win this. And I say we, because it's not just me. It's all of us running. Everybody who wants change.
And that's definitely a guarantee of when you get in there, it is going to be a collective win for everybody in that district.
Yes, it will be for everyone. Yes.
Are you playing in the victory party too, right?
I'm gonna let you two do that. You two playing really good parties.
I don't know if you want to do that. Don't mess up already.
Don't
mess up already.
No, you start planning on September 10th, okay? Not before. September 9th is the election. You can start planning it on the 10th, okay?
We're gonna definitely have you come back on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very
Definitely.
much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate just the opportunity to come here.
Our pleasure.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take another break and be right back with County Councilman Jay Street. All right, welcome back to the show. First, we have to give a shout out to Darius Brown and Sharita Brown. We want to just thank them for watching, always being just supporters of the Congo Hour. So we love you guys, and just thanks for watching.
Why would you do that to my friend?
Sharita, it's not Sharita Brown yet. Not Sharita Brown yet. It's Sharita Carroll.
She gonna really blow my phone off now.
Thank you for watching. So who's coming on now, Wayna? We have it.
You know what? I have grown to respect this man so much because, as I said last week, he doesn't bite his tongue. He says it how it is. And one thing that I love about him is he's definitely for the education. We talked about education for our youth. And he's no stranger on the Congo Hour or in Newcastle County, period. And that's Councilman Jay Street.
Jay's Corner tonight. He came in here asking what we're going to talk about. We're asking
whatever you want to talk about.
I really want to start out with the person who just left.
Okay.
And I know I talked about the reason I'm supporting her a little bit last week, but if you listen to her tonight, she specifically talked about education. She specifically talked about how you had inspired her because of some of your comments. And the fact of the matter is, since 2001, we've had recommendations that have been put before the General Assembly not once but twice. That basically you take out all the fluff, says you need a weighted funding formula for high poverty schools, and you need to have a reduction in the number of districts in the city of Wilmington.
Legislation. Before you go any further, can you educate us on, because you said things have been put before the General Assembly. Can you educate us
Well,
on
the
how that works?
Wilmington Neighborhood School Committee, January 2001, made recommendations, adopted universal concepts, which said you establish a weighted funding formula for high poverty schools to give schools additional resources so that they can properly educate the high number of children who are from low income families in these schools. It also said we need to reduce the number of districts in the city of Wilmington. 2001.
Why do you think there's a push against that?
Because the decision makers in the education arena, I don't care what they say, don't care about our kids who are trapped in these high poverty segregated schools.
Who are the decision makers?
Well, the decision makers in the hierarchy of education, and quite frankly, all the way through the General Assembly and the governor's office.
Okay.
I mean, nobody but the city of Wilmington has been advocating on behalf of those children who continue to be disenfranchised, and it's those same children who continue to create, after they have been miseducated, continue to create problems in our city, and that's who the penitentiary's filled up with. This is not rocket science work.
Right.
That's right.
So to hear her from the door say that I'm putting emphasis on education, my better judgment tells me when she gets elected in January, that legislation that's been pending for the past 13 years, I bet she'll sponsor it. I bet she'll push to have it sponsored. I bet she will ask the city delegation to come together and let's get this done. Put it in front of the General Assembly, let them vote it up or down. But, you know, the Delaware Black Caucus at the time when I was chair, we specifically, and I said this last week, I'm gonna keep saying it, specifically asked the governor if he would support a weighted funding formula for high poverty schools. His answer was no. And
He out blatantly said no.
he said no,
Okay.
that right now we were going to rely on Race to the Top.
Right.
That money is about to end. And Secretary of Education in a meeting a couple weeks ago made it clear, he didn't say whether he agreed or disagreed, but there's not the political will to do that. And I think we've got to create that political will. And I'm excited to see a young person willing to step forward, willing to serve. You know, since she's been in office, she served with integrity, she served with distinction, and
Yes.
every problem in her district, she's been there, and her leadership has been unconditional. And those things that ordinarily folks run from and shun away from, you know, there have been tragedies in her district, and she's been there providing leadership, seeing to it that the community had to respond because she is the council person responding. So that's who you want to look to push forward. And the fact that, you know, and I said this again, but I'm gonna say it again because I think it's important. When I sat in that meeting 2 weeks ago, everybody around that table was as old as me,
Right.
or older. So at what point do you reach back and say, young folks, we need help here, and how do you prepare for the future? And I just see all that in her. I think she's a special young lady, and I think she will serve in a very special way. So I'm excited about her.
Yeah, she will.
Yes.
I'm sure she wouldn't be the only person to support that type of legislation, but do you think that she would have enough support, and if not, where do we go from there?
Oh no, she doesn't have enough support.
Right. So what do we
that's
do?
the reason the legislation hasn't been sponsored. The fact of the matter is, and folks might say I'm on repeat, but unless the General Assembly is confronted with a potential situation where we might have to have yet another school desegregation order, they're not going to act. So it's no question in my mind.
Right.
I've been saying for the last how many years that in my view, the Charter School Act is unconstitutional, the Neighborhood School Act is unconstitutional, and the Choice School Act is unconstitutional. Well, it's time to prove it. And in the absence of either the legislation or the litigation, our children are going to continue to suffer irreparable harm. I mean, the data is crystal clear, the outcomes are crystal clear, and when we're at a point where you have one of the highest, if not the highest rates of juvenile incarceration in the country. The common denominator is a failing school system. When we have, regrettably, as a city, one of the highest crime rates as it relates to homicides and shooting, they're directly related.
They are.
And there are other things that need to come along with that. A lot of economic development needs to be done within the city, but education is primary and foremost. And you start with early childhood education, and you bring it all the way to completion. And now, if you look at even our kids who do well, succeed in school, Delaware State's $21,000. University of Delaware is $24,000. Where are they supposed to get this money from? And we're not in the process of, we have actually priced our children right out of a college education. And so thank God right now for Del Tech, thank God for Wilmington College. And you know, you have our children who will sign up, get in, get admitted to, go to out-of-state colleges. Out-of-state colleges will give them most of the money the freshman year, and then the following year, the new freshmen get the money. So that money is reduced, so they end up coming back home anyway. So we have challenges in our education system for our children from beginning to end, and this problem didn't get created overnight. It's not going to be resolved overnight. I'm not going to be on the battlefield forever, and I'm looking forward to somebody like Sherry stepping in and beginning to provide the leadership that's going to be necessary, because I'm not going to live to see fairness in this education system. And when I come off the battlefield, I want to make sure that if I don't do anything else, that people are in place to replace roles and functions. And I just see her at this point as one of those people.
Yeah, I guess one of the biggest problems with Dover, we don't have enough, like Wilmington doesn't have enough representation in Dover.
Well, redistricting did not help us,
Right.
and here we are at 2014, everybody cries, vows, and says we need diversity, and in the history of the General Assembly, in the history of the Delaware State Senate, we've only had one African American senator at a time, and it's time for a change. It's really time for a change.
All right.
You know what? You said something that was sad, that you won't see the change in your lifetime.
It's not going to happen. I will not live to see fairness in this school system, and I'm hoping that my children may see it with my grandchildren, but it's just a harsh reality. You know, Brown versus Board is 60 years old this year.
Right.
And as chairperson of the NAACP Education Committee, my recommendation to the state board, the state NAACP board, was celebrate what? What is there to celebrate? We've regressed from the gains made from Brown. For all intents and purposes, even though it's not by law, we're still segregated. We went from 1978 to being, the schools in Newcastle County being among the most desegregated in the country. And then we turned right around after the court order was lifted with those three acts I just talked about. And with the three of them, we went right back to our beginning place of resegregating our children, especially in the city of Wilmington. And so it's segregation by race, segregation by income, and the outcome has a long-term economic impact, which is devastating to our community. And if it hasn't happened in the first 60 years, do the numbers. How many years do I mean, I'm 61 years old. How many more years do I, and I don't think it's going to happen in the next 60. So I won't be here if and when it happens.
Give us, if you can, give us your ideal public education system.
Ideal public education system is one where every child has an opportunity to learn and succeed, and those who want to go to college and be whatever they want to be can do that unscathed, and it's fair and equitable to everybody else. What's fundamentally unfair right now is one of the primary prerequisites for a child learning in the classroom is that child has to think that the person standing in front of him and her actually cares about him or her. We got some great teachers, and we have some teachers who really care. I don't want to sit here and act like I'm indicting the whole school system or all our teachers, but the predominance of our children don't see that, don't feel that. And when you get a kid, you know, I'm still at Hilltop, you know, that's home, and whatever legacy I have, that'll be part of it. But when you get a 6th grader walking to the building, the first day of school says, Mr. Street, I got something I never had. What's that, baby? I got a black teacher. I mean, it's just sad. And, you know, I talk to my kids at the center all the time. How many of you think your teachers really like you? How many of you think your teachers really don't like you? And when you see hands go up, it's sad. And then I have to explain to them that it's not the teacher's job to like you. That's your job. That's your mama's job. That's my job. You're gonna have some teachers who like you. You're gonna have some teachers who really don't care about you. That's not their job. Their job is to teach you. Your job is to go in there and learn all you can learn, because the teacher's getting paid to teach you. It's your responsibility to take full and total advantage of every opportunity that's put in front of you, and it doesn't matter whether the person likes you or not. Knowledge, once you acquire it, nobody can take it away from you.
That's right.
And you got folks breaking, and this is what I say to the kids every day, you got folks breaking in the country every day. They're coming by land, they're coming by air, and they're coming by sea. Primarily for 2 reasons: free enterprise and free education. Y'all are here. It's free. Get all the free knowledge you can get before you have to pay for it. So that was a very long answer to a very short question, but
That was a
that's
good
how I
answer.
feel.
That was a
Okay.
great question.
So you think that, I know you mentioned something about charter schools. What's your opinion about charter schools?
I am not a proponent of charter schools. If you look at the charter school system, charter schools is number one for the charter schools that are primarily non-minority. What they are basically are private schools paid for with public dollars. And 2,
How does that happen?
well, if you look at,
Let's take Wilmington Charter.
if you
Can we
take
do that?
Wilmington
Can we-
Charter,
yeah.
there's an admission criteria.
Uh-huh.
And so you know who's likely to meet the admission standard, who's likely not to meet the admission standard. The Newark Charter School, preferential treatment is given to 5.5 mile radius around the school. Who lives there?
Right.
Who don't live there?
Okay.
It's purposely and intentional. On the other hand, you've got predominantly minority charter schools, and they purport to be able to do for $10,000 per child what the public schools can't do for around $15,000 per child. And then children who are not successful in the regular schools flock to them. They run to them because they don't like the situation that they're in. And so usually they're the most challenged. Now with that you say, well, Street, you know, you say you don't like charter schools, and you were sitting in the courtroom fighting for Reach to stay open, and I'm gonna be sitting somewhere this week fighting for another one to stay open. Well, you as the state created these schools. They're part of our infrastructure now, okay? You don't leave vacant buildings in communities where the community is dependent on that building for community meetings. You don't want a vacant building that's going to lower the price of housing, and it creates jobs. Everybody in those schools are working.
Right.
So people become dependent on that. So you're not going to take that away. Second, these children weren't doing well in the public school. They came over here. You said when you allow these schools to open that they could do these things. You haven't given them any help to see to it that they do things well. And when you see them struggling, as opposed to stepping in and assisting them, you just sit awake nights and try to find ways to close them. So no, you're not going to close them without a fight.
Right.
And the question I ask about reach, and the question I'm gonna ask about this other school is, which one of these school districts are you going to take them out, or are you going to take and put them in where they're going to do any better?
All right.
And if you look at some of the middle schools and some of the high schools within the school districts, when you disaggregate the test scores by low income, the test scores are just as bad, in some cases worse, than in the charter schools. But at least in the charter schools, those children feel like they're getting attention. They feel like somebody cares about them. There's a smaller staff-child ratio. So you gave it to us. No, you're not going to take it away without a fight. And that's the way I look at it, even though I'm not a proponent of charter schools.
Okay. All right, that does.
That makes
clear.
sense.
Never have been, never will be. But you're just not going to give us something and then take it away. In the meantime, December 2012, Christina found guilty of discrimination and discipline,
Right.
district-wide at all levels, and none of them have opened their mouth about that. A year and a half later, the only mouths that have been open about discrimination, the proven discrimination, is me and Wilmington City Council. How fair is that?
Yeah, that is.
Especially when the test scores of low-income children in some of those schools is just as bad as the charter schools that you want to close. And
then I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. The person, I don't know if it's still the same, but the person they put in charge of fixing the problem was the person that was a part of the problem. Is that right? I don't want to name. I don't even know the person's name. But is that? I heard that. Is that true?
I'm not sure who you're talking about, so I'm gonna have to pass on that.
No.
But
With the Christina district, school district.
well,
with the whole
what
kid,
I
was it?
said at the hearings was, okay, that nobody was held accountable, nobody was held responsible. Any other school district in the country, there would have been major changes in leadership. So now at the time,
maybe that's what it was.
they took the same administrators
Okay.
who were
That's
in
what it
charge of discipline at the time and gave them another title and left them in charge. You try to do the same old thing,
Right,
you're going
right.
to get you're going to get the exact same results. And you know, in his 1991 opinion and order, when we sued Red Clay, Judge Schwartz said the Constitution is satisfied if everybody gets an equally bad education. Well,
Wow.
if at this point, the only children who are getting this equally bad education are children of color and low income children, then the Constitution is not being satisfied.
That's right.
And it has to be addressed accordingly. And I am so certain that we're going to be at trial, and there's going to be legislation pending in the next year, because we're out of options. At the point where leadership says there's not the political will to do anything about it, well, the political will is going to have to be compelled. So that's where I am with that.
Well, as always, we appreciate your wisdom and your knowledge, and especially your compassion that you have for the education system. And we'll have to have you back on again so that you can talk more about education, okay? You all right with that?
Oh, I'm just fine. You know, I'm excited. One of the things, and I don't like accentuating the negative, you know, I screamed and I begged for a library in the Route 9 corridor, and working with the county executive and working with county council, I'm real excited about the fact that it looks like that's going to come to fruition.
Yes.
And it's going to happen in this term. And I'm real excited about that, and I think there's going to be something beneficial to the community as relates to education. And it's not going to be just the folks on the route, in the Route 9 and 13 corridors who are going to use it. I'm sure folks from throughout the county are going to have fun there. And it's going to be more than a library.
Most
It's going to be a resource place for children and
Yeah,
the community.
it's not even going to be called a library, is it? But it's a
County-
library.
County executive's got another name for
I
it.
forget what it is, yeah. But I definitely want to say that County Executive Tom Gordon, he's really excited about this project, so I can't wait till it comes to fruition. Most
Well,
definitely.
I'm real excited about that, and I think it's going to be an asset to the community for a long time, and it's going to certainly be there long after I'm no longer on council. So
Right.
I'm excited about that.
Good. All right, so I'm gonna text you your next date, okay? Okay.
Whatever you and
You
Mr.
said-
Congo say, whatever you, Mr. Congo, and the councilman say,
Okay.
I try to accommodate all reasonable requests.
We appreciate you. All right, going to take a very short break, and we'll be back with our funeral announcements.
Or let me get out of here.
Announcements. First, we have Miss Sandra Tackett, age 60. Departed this life July the 26th. Her funeral services were yesterday, and her burial took place in the Silverbrook Cemetery. Mr. Charlie Patrick, age 69, departed this life July the 23rd. His services were held on Friday, and his burial is private. Mr. Samuel Reed Sr., age 79, departed this life July the 21st. His services were also on Friday, and his burial took place in the Mount Pisgah Church Cemetery. Mr. Alfred Johnson, age 79, departed this life July the 29th. His services will be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. at the Congo Funeral Home on 2nd and Gray Avenue. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and his burial will be in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Miss Valente Boyd, age 29, departed this life July the 24th. Her services will be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. at the Bethel AME Church, 602 North Walnut Street. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45, and her burial will be private. Miss Florence Satterfield, age 77, departed this life July the 28th. Her funeral services will be on Thursday at 12 noon at the New Destiny Fellowship, 906 East 16th Street. Viewing will be from 10 to 11:45 only, and her burial will be in the Grace Lawn Memorial Park. Services for Mr. Kevin Carter, age 57, who departed this life July the 28th, will be on Friday at 1 p.m. at the Congo Funeral Home on 2nd and Gray Avenue. Viewing will be from 12 to 1, and his burial will be private. Services for Mr. James Wells Sr., age 68, who departed this life on July the 29th, will be on Saturday, August the 9th, at 11 a.m. at the Congo Funeral Home on 24th and Market Streets. Viewing will be from 9 to 10:45 only, and his burial will be on Monday, August 11th at 10 a.m. in the Delaware Veterans Cemetery. Services for Miss Tiana Redding, age 19, who passed away suddenly July the 27th, will be announced. Funeral services will also be announced for Miss Lillian Davis, age 91, who departed this life on July the 31st. Services will be announced for Mr. Carlos Guadalupe, age 31, who departed this life on July the 31st. And a memorial service will be announced for Mr. Richard McVeigh, age 59, who departed this life on July the 30th. And that does conclude all of our funeral announcements. If you have any questions, please call us at the funeral home at 652-8887. Once again, our number is 652-8887. You can always go to our website at www.congofuneralhome.com. And I think Wayna has a few community news announcements that you want to make.
Well, I might can only announce a few of them.
Okay.
But do me a favor and just wave, Trippy. We're waving to my little cousin Taylor.
Hey,
She
Taylor.
says every time she watches, she's waving
hey,
like we
thank
can
you,
see
Taylor.
her. So
Thank you,
thank
Taylor.
you for watching. Real quickly, the Baynard High Rise Apartments is having a fundraiser Friday, August the 8th from 12 noon until they're sold out. Cost is only $10. They're having fish and pig feet dinners with 2 sides, macaroni and cheese or potato salad, cabbage, bread. What? What was you going to say?
Nothing?
Oh, okay. I thought you was going to say something. To place your order, call 571-9192. That's 571-9192. And then Christian Love Worship Cathedral presents Family and Friends Super Sunday, Sunday, August the 10th at 9 a.m. worship, and they are at 1230 North French Street. And I promise next week we'll take 10 minutes out to read the rest of the announcements that
Okay.
are upcoming events.
All right, we'll also talk about our community cleanup.
Yes.
That's going to happen on August the
30th. Yes.
Okay, but then next Sunday I'm having a community day from 12 to 4 right at the park right on Bainer Boulevard and 18th, and 18th Street. So it's going to be next Sunday, but I'll put more information on Facebook about it. It's going to be for the 2nd District. It's going to be next Sunday from 12 to 4.
All right.
All right.
And we want to say congratulations to Duffy for Duffy's Hope on basketball.
Another successful
Yes.
celebrity basketball game. Maybe
Yes.
we'll have him come on next Sunday to talk more about it and to thank the community.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you for watching. If you ever want to be a part of the show, give Wayna a call. Or if you want to say hi to Wayna, just give her a call at 521-7325. 521-7325.
Gundy's in the green room.
Shoot her a nice text and just tell her.
Gundy's in the
just
green
say hi.
room. He gonna get you.
Okay. All right, just say hi to her. All right, thank you. God willing, we'll see you next Sunday.
All right. Bye.